Good evening guys, and welcome to yet another vlog. It is again a Tuesday night, regular for us. It's always myself and Paul out. Darkness is going to be upon us soon, within the next maybe half an hour, so we thought we had to come to this first of our two locations. I did look into detail doing other things, but I thought this is going to be one of these look what's on your doorstep, things that people didn't quite know about, that have real significance, real history. And this one's quite bizarre, so we're going to go and have a look. Bit sketchy, bit dangerous to be doing it in the dark hours, so we come in with just a little bit of light left. After that we'll make our way to the second more known site, but this is Kums Quarry. So let's go and do this. So Kums Quarry sits just off from the A421 between Buckingham and Bletchley. It's now a nature reserve, but it is quite ancient. I think they stopped doing quarrying here in the 1890s. It's of a white limestone. And actually here in the quarry I think there's two old kilns that they used to burn it, but what remains of them I'm not sure. Significant of this place is what we are looking at, and I know we're in Buckinghamshire, right close to where we actually live, but this used to be a shallow tropical sea basin. Certainly doesn't feel like it this time of year. In there you'll find all sorts of sea urchin creatures that are fossilised. Obviously I can see down there there's little bunny holes. It's just interesting to see what we can actually see. Go and have a look. There we go, it's even got a geology board on it. See what I mean about the fossils, the sort of things you're going to find down there, coral, etc. Back from a time when our good old friend T-Rex was running around. It's just quirky, fits the channel, the niche, the sort of things I do. How many of you thought to yourself, a place like this, it might not be nothing to any of you, but a place like this exists less than a 5-minute drive from Bletchley? I'll show you this sketchy staircase I've just walking down when I get to the bottom. It's not the most stable things. Yeah, certainly watch your footing walking down that. They've actually built in this railing fencing to give you like a viewing veranda of it, but I can get close and walk down the main thoroughfare at the bottom, which I will do in a minute. And if you wanted to come here for a picnic, you can see there's a picnic table over there. Not the hugest of places, but unique in its own right. I do have a friend, Steve, he would know about the rocks, the fossils, etc. So if you're watching this, buddy, let us know. You've probably been here yourself. If not, it's certainly worth checking out, because this is certainly your field. Yeah, embedded in here, thousands of shells and all sorts of other fossilised little creatures. And why was I saying this is significant? Because what they brought out of here, took out of here should I say, the building material, is what they built our second location with. That being the oldest medieval bridge in the whole of Buckinghamshire, which has this very year been abandoned for 50 years. This bit out the back here, under a heck of a lot of vegetation now. These would have been your kilns, or what remains of them now. There's still some structure there, so those of you similar, or just as similar, familiar with the two brick kilns that sit adjacent to the canal around Linford area, these are pretty much that kind of thing. You can see the oven area down the bottom there. They'd put your lime in there, heated it up, and that was used in building materials. I'm not sure what the difference is. I think that's white lime there, I think. I'm not sure the difference is between that and quick lime, which is a very toxic and corrosive substance that they use. It could very much, I remember, if anyone's seen, remember the old Sharp series, and they were under attack and all they could find was the shells of clams, mussels, etc. that were fossilised in the area they were around, and they used that to defend themselves because it made a pungent, dangerous sort of cloud for the enemy to come through, so they retreated. That's pretty much what you get from the shells in the quarry. And this is the other kiln. Quite an interesting find. So it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it does add to things, because without this place and minerals, the rock, etc. that come out of here, the bridge that is maybe 700-800 meters further to our west would not exist. And that is where we're heading to next. Ain't that tree bizarre? It's always moulded around the brickwork. Okay, so we have arrived at our second destination. I couldn't find anything. You know what I'm like when I look into investigating things, if there's any paranormal, any ghostly activity, etc. Couldn't find anything specific to do with the bridge that is behind us, which we'll go over shortly. But there's no reason why it couldn't be, because adjacent to it in the field is these. Now that is, there will be two of them, that is known as a Roman barrel. It's basically a burial mound. That would be at least BC, that's before chocolate of course. Now that would be before the time of our current history started, so past 2024 years ago. These would have been the rich and to do well. Sorry if I'm sort of a bit aspirated when my voice is just this cold still kicking in. These two mounds here, I think there would have been a series of tunnels and pillars and arches. There would have been trinkets, pots, bronze, etc. And the rich and wealthy families of that British Roman era buried within these mounds. I think they were amateurly explored. I don't know how many years ago, it could have been even a couple of centuries ago, and their findings are in, I think it's in the Cambridge Museum and possibly something in the Old Gow, which is in Buckingham, which is like a, well, is what it says. The Old Gow is like an old prison, an old clink type thing. But yeah, these two what look like boobies sticking up in the field are actually burial mounds. It's only reading into them over the previous years I found out that they were Roman. I used to think that they were plague burial mounds, because there is a church at Howe Park Wood, which is close to Westcroft in Milton Keynes, and there was something in the region of maybe 300 to 500 people that just miraculously disappeared from the area, and the only thing that would have happened around that period of time was the bubonic plague would have come through. So they probably would have piled the bodies high, torched them, because obviously it was like the Black Death, it was the fleas on rats etc that spread it around, and it jumped from person to person, and we had a serious pandemic. As you can see, Farnborough Bridge in the foreground. That is what we pretty much come here for. That is the oldest medieval bridge in the whole of Buckinghamshire. Abandoned for 50 years this year. That road, the traffic running parallel, is the A421. Direction them vehicles have come from is Buckingham. They're making their way to Bletchley and Milton Keynes, which is further down that way past Wadham. And this is a rather picturesque medieval bridge. Put this in perspective, guys. This is 600 years old. And people think, okay, it's a number. But then when you turn around and think to yourself, that is older than Christopher Columbus and the entirety of the United States of America, it paints a bigger picture. This was before any of that. Probably changed a heck of a lot. I can see it's been sheared up with modern brick at some point over the years, but wow, pretty looking thing. That is the Great River Ouse that runs beneath it. Now originally I would imagine it was probably a wood-based crossing bridge, then went over to possibly cobblestone, and then stone itself. Now obviously it's got tarmac on it now, but traffic, it couldn't take modern day traffic. You'll see how narrow it is when I cross it. But it was 74 when they stopped this being the main thoroughfare, the main road, and built the adjacent bridge behind it. And then the road links back up on itself further down. I won't be getting any closer because I don't fancy a dip. As I said, I have no views either way as to whether this could possibly be haunted. No reason why not. It's the sort of thing that we would generally do, but this is just putting different content out there. This is on your doorstep if you live in Buckingham, you live in Bletchley, Milton Keynes. Great area to come down and have a picnic. I believe you can walk along the bankside up here, and there's little bits, little other monuments, little alcoves that people take photographs and sit in. But it just, perhaps, that little glimmer of hope that it can open people's eyes and minds to other things that might be out there. Pull up there, giving us a good wave. Right, let's cross this old timer then. As you can see, there is no way on earth, with the volume of traffic, that this would cope with single file traffic either side, bunching up waiting across, and some of the weight of the LGVs nowadays. It would simply tear this poor thing apart. But it's seen some history. I dare say people have been toppled from the bridge itself, thrown into the murky depths below. I dare say contraband and other items have been thrown over it. It's just a shame there's no plaque as such. But as you can see, it's got them sort of castle inlets going across it. Something different. Hope you guys have enjoyed us bringing it to you. As I said, it might not be a castle, but it's as old as, back to medieval times. So when you turn around and say the 14th century, you're turning around and saying anything between 1301 to 1399. As soon as it goes over, the same as we're currently in the 21st century. And I dare say recently, with the weather we've had, that has severely burst its banks. You can see just from the marsh area there, the water would have come right up here and probably beyond. It's a beautiful sunset there in the background. It's coming up to about maybe 5:15 now. Anyway guys, thank you so much for joining myself and Adventures of Paul again on a Tuesday evening when we go out and do these vlogs. Next week I have annual leave, so we've got a little bit more time to play with, so I'll probably get the pools possibly around 2 o'clock, and we might go and find an old abandoned farm somewhere, probably in the Northamptonshire area, because that's where there is a serious plethora of them. And with that, I've said so little yet so much, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the movies. So Adventures Paul, bye for now.
Bye for now. Bye for now.